Hey everyone, it's Will here with Flow Trade Effects. I'm bringing you guys a new video. This is going to be a breakdown of the most recent trades that I took. As you guys see on my screen here, I took a trade with the USDCHF. I took two trades here with the eurocad. Those are actually the same trade. I actually just took one of them out at a support level. I'll go into that as we go over the chart. And then I also took a trade in the eurojpy. Now, these all happened relatively quick, with the exception of the USDCHF. Excuse me. Now, the USDCHF I actually took several days ago. This one actually just hit its take profit this morning, well, actually last night after midnight. So I was actually taken out of this trade as well this morning. But the rest of these trades I was taking this morning, and it just so happened that they worked out and closed relatively quickly as well. So we're gonna go ahead and get into that and kind of get into why I took these trades. And then, yeah, that'll be that. So bear with me one moment while I clear up my screen. All right, cool. So the first chart that I have here is the Euro CAD, in which I took this trade based on this support break right here, in which price had been trending down for several days. 1 day, 2 days, this third day being the area which found support. And then, as you could tell, price tried to retest, but it didn't get very far, was relatively shallow, and was met with more momentum towards the downside. And using that information, I seen that the support level was able to hold that momentum and push it up once again, and then finally was able to break through. So I seen that level is relatively significant. I found that if price was to drop through this level, find support, and then somehow retrace back to this level, that I would like to see if it's going to hold that level. And if it does, I would trade that level towards the downside. So I would sell. And that's exactly what we found here. It wasn't quick, but over several hours, the market did find support after finally dropping through that relatively important level. And then after finding support once, it broke down and found support again before coming back to finally retrace. Now, this retracement was relatively shallow, but I found that sufficient, and I used that considering price never came back up and it was relatively stagnant afterwards. And using that, I was able to put a stop relatively close and allow the market no room to go against me very much before I knew if I was right or wrong. Now at this point, obviously, I took my trade right here and set my stop relatively close above this level right here. And this trade was about at 2.5 to 1. So as far as the profit goes, it was relatively good. But when it comes down to trading off of this level, I noticed that there was a support level here also that was made from the previous run, and that may pose a problem as my trade was going to be trading into that. Now, I was glad to see that the market was making lower lows and continuing to trade into that area, but I knew to have caution because if the market didn't follow through that area with a lot of thrust, that price may be held at this area and find some trouble. Now, when I stopped, the market was about 8 or 9 a.m., something like that, because it's about 12 now. So 11, 10, 9, 8. So it was about 7 or 8 when I actually finished up with my trade specifically, given the way that it all worked out. So as we traded into the support, I closed off half of my position. That's why you see 2. And then as my second position was running, I let it run for just a little bit just to see. And then it came back up here and I was stopped out. And that would be my second position. And then shortly afterwards, just roughly 1 to about 4 hours later, the market came back down here to finally hit the initial take profit area, which would have been my final completion for my whole position. But given the way that the market structure works out, sometimes you got to take what you get instead of hoping to get more and trying to hold on for that little bit. I wasn't looking to give back all of this, get just for this little bit right here. So I closed out that position, and it was a good day. Now, I did take a few more positions here. So I mentioned the USD which, as you can tell now, it's moving in a complete opposite direction of what I initially wanted it to do. But that's okay because we already got out of this position and our take profit was hit with great momentum. and maybe that was just the only momentum that this market will see towards the upside. Well, actually, there was a second or third revisit, depending on how you see it, before the market came back all the way down here. But at any rate, we were into the market about here. We had a stop loss about here, and then we had our take profit here, which was it took almost 14 hours for this trade to pan out, but it only took 1 hour of momentum for our whole take profit to get crushed. So that was a cool trade. Sorry, y'all. So it only took about 1 hour for that trade to complete after the momentum actually struck, and that was towards the upside for a 1.7 to 1 trade, roughly risking 75 pips for 140 pips. So pretty good on this specific trade as well. And then last but not least, we have the eurjpy, which is looking to be doing the same thing actually now, but again, it doesn't matter. I seen this large break of this support area right here, and then you see price comes all the way through this area, crushes it, makes a new support level down here, continues to trade away from this area, never really comes back down to revisit it for whatever reason, right? But I guess it's in limbo between here and here, and I see that. So I didn't expect price to do anything too dramatic, but I was, I guess, interested in the fact that price made this resistance level here out of nowhere, and then decided to come back towards that resistance level after making this little area right here, which, for most of you guys who might see it, it's a little bit of a range. And sometimes when I see a range, I'll entertain it. For this one specifically, I think that there was a little bit of a spread and there was a good meat on the bone. So I figured, you know what, let me just get involved here. Since I seen this upper boundary of this range being met, and then I seen it being rejected off of that, I entered about this area right here with a stop tightly right above the top of the range right here, which was also a double top. So that was a double confluence. And then I knew that my target was going to have to be somewhere towards the previous support area, which was about here. So after calculating it, it was about a 2 to 1, or it looked like a 2 to 1 at the time. So I took that trade with all that in mind. Price kind of came back down to this level, and it only took about an hour and a half totally for the price to come back into this level once, twice, reject it, and not fully like dip past it. So I seen that and closed the market right there. As price continued to come back against me, I was very glad, obviously, but I didn't sit around watching this. I was actually involved in the eurocad still. That was actually the last trade that I took of the day, which was the second half of that after price had broke through the support and then ended up kind of going stagnant. That was pretty much it. But these were the trades that I took today. All the reasons that I took them were explained here. Um, if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you guys have any questions, comments, whatever, drop them in the section below. If you guys do like these videos, subscribe so you can guys get my next videos coming out. And yeah, you guys stay healthy, stay positive, stay profitable, and yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.